Welcome to today's news discussion. I'm Sonia, and joining me is Simon.
Hello, Sonia. Good morning to our listeners.
Let's start with Nissan's latest quarterly results. Nissan Motor Corp reported a return to profit in the first quarter of the fiscal year. Can you walk us through the details, Simon?
Sure. Nissan recorded a 3.8 billion yen, or $24 million, net profit from April to June. This is a significant turnaround from the 115.8 billion yen loss in the same period last year. The profit was helped by cost-cutting measures and improved sales in some markets.
That's a substantial reversal. What were some of the key factors contributing to this improvement?
The reporting highlights cost-cutting measures and improved sales in certain markets. However, Nissan also warned of potential challenges in the Middle East and China. It'll be interesting to see how these factors play out in the coming quarters.
Absolutely. The company has been struggling with losses over the past 2 fiscal years. Do we know if Nissan has made any significant changes to its strategy or operations that could be sustaining this recovery?
The articles mention that Nissan's leadership has promised to continue improving its financial health, but specific details about new strategies weren't provided. It might be worth keeping an eye on their future announcements for more clarity.
That makes sense. Now, let's move on to another story. Visa is acquiring BioCatch, a fraud detection firm, for $2.4 billion. Simon, can you tell us more about this deal and its implications?
Visa's acquisition of BioCatch is aimed at bolstering its cybersecurity offerings. BioCatch specializes in fraud detection, which is becoming increasingly important as artificial intelligence-driven scams become more sophisticated. This deal is part of Visa's strategy to expand its value-added services business.
The reporting mentions that this acquisition will help Visa's clients better protect themselves against complex threats. Can you elaborate on how BioCatch's technology works?
BioCatch uses behavioral biometrics to detect fraud. It analyzes how users interact with their devices to identify potential fraudulent activity. This technology is particularly useful in preventing account takeover scams.
That sounds like a robust solution. How does this fit into Visa's broader strategy?
Visa is focusing on enhancing its cybersecurity capabilities to stay ahead of emerging threats. This acquisition is a significant step in that direction, allowing Visa to offer more comprehensive security solutions to its clients.
Moving on to India's manufacturing sector, the HSBC India Manufacturing PMI showed a slowdown in July. Simon, what are the key takeaways from this report?
The PMI fell to 53.5 in July, its lowest level since August 2021. While the sector is still in expansion territory, the growth rate has weakened. Softer domestic demand affected new orders, purchases, and hiring, though exports remained a key support.
That's interesting. What are the potential reasons behind this slowdown in domestic demand?
The article suggests that weaker domestic demand was a significant factor. However, improved supply chains and stronger overseas demand provided some relief to manufacturers. It's a mixed picture.
So, despite the overall slowdown, there are still positive elements, like the support from exports. How might this impact India's economic outlook?
The slower manufacturing growth could have implications for India's overall economic growth. However, the fact that the PMI is still above 50 indicates that the sector is still expanding, just at a slower pace.
Let's switch gears to oil prices. There's been significant movement due to geopolitical developments. Can you walk us through what's happening, Sonia?
Oil prices dropped significantly after U.S. President Donald Trump stated that he had called off a planned strike on Iran. Brent crude futures fell by $4.49, or 5.11%, to $83.44, while WTI was down 4.90, or 5.79%, to $79.77.
That's a substantial drop. What was the market's reaction to Trump's announcement?
The reporting suggests that investors pared back geopolitical risk premiums following Trump's statement. The market had previously priced in the risk of a potential conflict, so the news led to a rapid adjustment in oil prices.
So the reduction in geopolitical tensions led to a decrease in oil prices. How might this impact the global economy?
Lower oil prices can have various effects, including reduced costs for consumers and businesses, potentially boosting economic activity. However, it could also impact oil-producing countries and companies.
Let's touch on some market movements. SanDisk stock has seen significant fluctuations. Simon, what's the latest with SanDisk?
SanDisk stock price has been volatile, with a recent drop of 50% from its highest level this year. The upcoming earnings report is expected to be a key driver for the stock's movement. Wall Street expects $33.38 EPS on $8.24 billion revenue.
That's a significant correction. What are the potential factors driving this volatility?
The articles mention that the stock has experienced a sharp correction recently, losing about 41% in 30 days. Investors are likely waiting for the earnings report to gauge the company's performance and future prospects.
So the earnings report could be a catalyst for a potential rebound. Are there any other factors that might influence SanDisk stock price in the near term?
The overall market sentiment and any guidance SanDisk provides during their earnings call could also influence the stock price.
As we've covered all the remaining stories, that's all for today's discussion.
Thank you for joining us, Sonia, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in.
Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.